All right, before we start, I'm going to show you guys my audience. And here is my note card. And here is my student ID. Okay. How many people in the room are happy with the current state of the Senate and the Congress? I'm guessing most of you are very discontent with it. Current approval rating of Congress is at 14%. But the thing is, how many of you guys actually voted in the 2016 elections? Going off polling data, everyone in this room is a millennial, and only half millennials voted. So probably most of us didn't vote at all in the 2016 elections, even though we're discontent with the state of government. Luckily for us, we have elections coming up this fall in the 2018 midterm elections. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what is up for election in these elections, why you should vote in these elections, the impact that millennial voters can have in this election, and what the consequences of this election can be. So what exactly is up for election? According to Ballotopedia, there are 35 Senate seats up for grabs, and all 435 congressional districts are up for election in the 2018 elections. In Nevada alone, there are 4 congressional seats, and in California, there are 53 congressional seats that are up for election. And like I said, the current approval rating of Congress is at 14%, so obviously most of us are discontent with the Congress and the Senate, and the ballot box is the best way for us to create change. So what are the consequences of the 2018 election? On a macro level, the consequences of this election are that this election offers the opportunity for the Republicans to maintain their control on both the House and the Senate, or for the first time since 2010, the Democrats could regain control of both the House and the Senate. As mentioned before in my previous speech, gerrymandering is still a big problem that plagues our current election system. And this election offers us an opportunity to beat a gerrymandered system with extra people voting, with more demographics voting and being supported. This would offer us an opportunity to even beat gerrymandered districts. An example of this would be this man right here, Connor Lamb. In a recent special election, he was able to win the 18th district of Pennsylvania. The New York Times had called this district one of the most gerrymandered districts in the entire nation, but thanks to extra support and people who normally didn't vote coming out to the polls, he was still able to win against the opposition, even with the district being so heavily gerrymandered. So, like I said, high voter turnout can lead to not only changes in both the Democrats or the Republicans controlling the House and the Senate, but also can lead to beating gerrymandered districts. So now let's talk about millennials and voting. So according to the Pew Research Center, only half of eligible voting millennials voted in the 2016 election. And as you can see from this graph right here, this is very low compared to other generations. The silent generation is at 70%, so are the boomers, and even the Gen Xers are at 60%. So what this has led to is millennials being very underrepresented in government because we aren't voting. The good thing is, though, is that millennials are quickly becoming the largest voting base, and that means we have the opportunity to create a large impact on our voting system. So what could we do with the largest voting base? So according to NPR, in the upcoming election, millennials will represent 31% of the eligible voters in 2018. This would be the largest base of any other generation that's eligible to vote. If millennials were to vote at what the other generations are voting, like around 70%, then we could have huge impacts on government, and our representation could skyrocket in government. And in government, the largest voting base will always have priority when it comes to voter issues and what politicians put to the forefront of their agendas. This means that if we were to all vote, their political agendas would be formed by the issues most important to us. So now I've told you about what's upcoming in the 2018 election, what the consequences could be, and what millennials could do. Now I'm going to tell you why you should vote in 2018. As I've said before, government impacts all of our lives on a daily basis. And in a democracy, every vote matters. You should vote because by voting, you give yourself a voice and you impact government and the role that it has on society. And even more importantly, if you vote, you become a part of a growing demographic in what could be the most important voting base in the 2018 elections. Thank you for listening to my speech. Hopefully you've got an understanding of why voting is important, and hopefully I persuaded you to vote in the 2018 elections, and I hope to see you all at the polls this fall.